Hello everybody, I'm Ali and welcome to day 1 of the From Plan to Action challenge. For today's video, I'm gonna solve a Python problem from this website called Quora. Since it's a Persian website, I couldn't find translate to English option, so I translated to English manually. Here's a question. Stephanie has caught a cold and is very tired. Since childhood, Stephanie has had a special interest in geometric shapes. Stephanie's homework for tonight is to determine if a triangle can be formed with 3 given angles. We will provide you with the 3 numbers that the teacher has given as the degrees of each angle, and you will help Stephanie correctly complete his homework. It provides us some information about input and output. For input, it says the first line of the input contains 3 numbers, representing the degrees of the 3 angles given by the teacher. It is guaranteed that all 3 input numbers are non-negative integers less than 360. And for output, it says, in the only output line, print yes if a triangle can be formed with these 3 angles, otherwise print no. And also it provides us some samples. Sample number 1 is 70, 60, 50. So if we calculate the sum of these 3 numbers, 70 plus 60 plus 50 is equals to 110, 180. So the output is gonna be yes. In sample number 2, we have 180, 0, 0, and the output is no. So we have to consider that we shouldn't have 0 in our angles. None of the angles can be 0. So we have to consider that in our code. Sample number 3 is 150, 40, and 10. If we calculate the sum of these 3 numbers, 150 plus 40 plus 10 is going to equal 50. And it's 200. So it's not equal to 180 and it's a no. In sample number 4, we have 1, 0. So the output will be no. And for sample number 5, we have 87, 65, and 27. If we calculate the sum of these 3 numbers, 87 plus 65 plus 27, it equals to, oh my god, this is a hard one. Let's use the calculator. 87 plus 65 plus 27 equals to 179. So it's not equal to 180 and the output will be no. First, I'm gonna solve this in the most newbie and beginners way. Then we use better code and use more Python function, and after that, I will write this code in an object-oriented way. So for solving this problem, we need to see if the sum of given angles is equal to 180, and if it is, we simply need to print yes. And if it is not, we print no. But one little tricky point, each of the given angles shouldn't be 0. So we also need to check this in our code. Since the input form is a line and it is a string, I'm gonna initialize 3 variables, angle 1, angle 2, and angle 3. I'm gonna say input. So since this is a string, in Python for strings, we had a method called split. What it does is basically separate and split the given line and given string with the character that you provide in these parentheses. I'm gonna say white space. So if we print these angles, angle 1, angle 2, I hope that I don't have any syntax error. Angle 3, we do have and like angle 1 and like angle 3. Yeah. That's correct. Now, if I compile this and enter 70, 60, 50, it's going to print 70, 60, 50. What it does basically is we enter 70, 60, and 50. And this line, just with a split method, we separate the line with white space. So 70 is stored in angle 1, 60 is stored in angle 2, and 50 is stored in angle 3. Now we have our 3 angles, but one tricky point. If we say print angle 1 plus angle 2, and if I compile that and say 70, 60, 50, oops, we got an error. What is the error? What does it say? 70, 60, 50. Now we don't have any error. Yeah, that's weird. As you guys can see, the output is not the sum of these 2 angles. It is like that we join these 2 numbers together, like 760 now is 760. So what is the issue? What's the problem here? The thing is our angle type is a string It's not integer. We have to convert it to integer. For converting a string to integer in Python, we can use a method, and inside these parentheses, I'm gonna pass angle 1. And I'm gonna do that for all 3 angles. 1, 2, 3. Angle 2 equals int angle 2. Angle 3 equals int angle 3. And yeah, if I compile that again and say 70, 60, 50, now it's working perfectly. 130. Now, since we know that we have our 3 angles without any issue, let's delete these unnecessary print statements. All right. Now we just only need to write our if statements. I'm gonna say if angle 1, I just write that again, and like angle 1 is not equals to 0, and angle 2 is not equals to 0, and angle 3 is not equals to 0. Now we have to write our second if statement, which is if angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is equals to 180. Now we need to print yes, else, print no. Now we need to write another else for the first if, and no. Now let's compile our code. I'm gonna say 70, 60, 50, yes. Let's try another samples. Sample 5, which is 87, 65, 27, no, perfect. Sample 4, 78, 102, 0, no. Sample number 3, 150, 40, and 10, no, perfect. Sample 2, 180, 0, 0, no, perfect. Our code works perfectly. Now let's upload our code into the Quora website and see the result of our code. I'm gonna select Python 3, choose file, desktop, this one. Let's wait for a second and reload. Yeah, our code works perfectly, 100%. When I start recording this video, I wanted to write the code in a simple way, then write it in a better way and more professional, and after that, write it in object-oriented way. But now I have another idea. Since this was the day 1 and the starter day of our challenge, let's just ignore the professional and object-oriented way. I'll try to get better and code like a professional and use object-oriented programming along the way. So it was the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys have any comment and any opinion about this video and about this challenge, just let me know in the comment. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.